husband always looked down on me and was uncooperative in our married life.
Every now and then he'd say, "You should be grateful to me, a high earner," and belittle me, a vocational school graduate. One day my husband said, "You should appreciate what you have in me," and he left home. Are you ready, buddy, to apologize yet? Yet?
That's what he asked when he contacted me, and I told him, it's more comfortable without you. My name is Anika, and I'm 28 years old. I met my husband, Matthew, who's the same age, through a mutual friend. When I met him, I had just graduated from a vocational school in the countryside and moved to the city for work.
Ask me anything about this place. It's been lost since you just came from the countryside, right?
Well, I'll take you up on that offer. I'm confused about the train transfers, and then...
As when he asked various questions, and scriptural asked or happy Christians. Matthew said, "I'll guide you."
Matthew, who showed me an unknown world, was very reliable, and I gradually became attracted to him. It's on his days off. Matthew would take me to popular tourist spots, and we started seeing each other every weekend. Gradually, we began to have dinner after work more often, and it became natural for Matthew and me to be together. So it was only natural that he proposed to me. I had no reason to refuse, and Matthew and I became a married couple before we knew it. However, as our married life continued, Matthew began to look down on me.
But you can keep working after we get married, right?
I looked into Matthew's eyes and answered his question. Yeah, I'm planning to. We have to pay the mortgage on our new home.
That section is Meryl. Alright, do as you like, but don't slack off on the housework, okay?
Fine. Since we're both working, let's share the housework.
Is that your way? Unlike you, a vocational graduate, I have a responsible job, time for housework. I don't have work. It's but I have work too. We've done. It's probably made no different by time, my great. Besides, there are plenty of replacements for someone like you who didn't even go to college. I expect to find a company, so it's not the same. My work is many times more important than yours.
But...
It's no bite. It's only natural for the one who doesn't earn to do the housework.
I think that's wrong, though.
She wouldn't understand since you didn't even go to college.
I had my own opinions, but I didn't want to fight so early in our marriage. I gave up on persuading Matthew and decided to do all the housework myself. As he said, I've been living alone for a long time, so it wasn't bad at housework. I've been cooking for myself while working, so it was just for 2 people now. I quietly obeyed Matthew. Perhaps encouraged by this, he gradually became more unreasonable.
Listen today, Joe met the salary. You can add what direction. I'll manage all the I'll give you living expenses, so manage with that.
We had moved our savings to a joint account before marriage, and after marriage, we planned to use our money carefully and gradually increase our savings.
But Matthew suddenly said, I'll manage everything.
The living expenses Matthew gave me were only $100. Oh, $100. Is this just for food? The other daily necessities are separate, right? Food, daily necessities, medical expenses, all of that for just $100 a month. It's impossible.
But it's not impossible. This is dirty shoes. You'll do it. I come home tired from work every day. Versus frequently work from we. I'll forgive you if you skimp on meals.
Now, Aver, Matthew was picky about the menu, and he'd become grumpy if it wasn't luxurious.
This is Swordakshi versus this Chibizi. It's just a little bit of meat. Lately, it's all cheap meat. How would you serve me some expensive meat after I've worked all day?
But with $100 for living expenses, it's impossible. If you want to eat meat, can you increase the living expenses a bit?
Then we're warning.
What? If we combine both our salaries, we should still have some left over for rent and utilities, right? I want you to use some of the savings for living expenses.
The balance is decreasing.
When? We're not saving. Why?
How should I know? His personal expenses. I mean, the $100 for living expenses is still too much.
You haven't been checking the details, have you?
Just what man would bother looking at that? If the balance is decreasing, you need to check what it's being spent on to manage it properly.
You've been coming home late lately? Is it the drinking expenses?
The drinking is for business-related relationships and entertaining. Are you lying?
It seems that Matthew's using the money in the account as he pleases, without even checking the details. Upon further investigation, it wasn't just drinking. He was buying things for his hobbies, making excuses like a break from work and doing whatever he wanted. Hey, the money in our joint account is what we both contributed when we got married, right? Shouldn't we save a little more? Then Matthew yelled at me. Matthew's salary is $1,500 a month. Is that considered a high salary? But in Matthew's company, he seems to be on the higher end of the pay scale. Because of that, Matthew has completely convinced himself that he's a high earner.
As in, I showed it. I'm expected at the company, so I'm juggling many jobs. I have many clients, so the number of entertaining events increases. That's why the drinking parties increase. It can't be helped. Also, there are many people in the company who are laid off and quit due to restructuring. Right. Just don't you understand my competence being needed by the company all this time?
His reasoning is just too selfish. I kept quiet until now, but I finally couldn't stand it anymore.
I'll be clear about this. A salary of $1,500 is not a high salary or anything. Nowadays, everyone gets more for their first salary. For your age, only getting $1,500 is actually too little.
Yes, but in my company's perks.
If you say you're a high earner in the company, isn't it that Matthew's company's salary level itself is low? Also, if you're going drinking for entertaining, the company should cover it as an expense. It's strange for you to bear it personally, is it? And the people around you who quit, were they really laid off due to restructuring?
Well, no one explicitly said it's restructuring, but employees are regularly decreasing.
Isn't it that everyone's quitting because they hate the company's harsh nature? The salary's low, overtime pay is hardly given, and they don't even let you use expenses for business drinking. That could easily be classified as a so-called black company, don't you think? People like Matthew who work for low wages without questioning anything are valuable to the company in a way. But aren't you just being used rather than being relied upon?
I said too much. I realized it too late. Matthew's face turned bright red, and his shoulders were shaking.
You, a country bumpkin and a vocational school graduate, wouldn't understand society. $1,500 is a low salary, so you sure dollar var. You get this, so I'm a loser.
Right, Exarlucen?
Yeah, stand around. I saw your pay stub the other day, and you only made $1.
What, where did you see that?
Looking at my surprise, Matthew said,
The deposit statement was left on the desk. I'm sure it's done. Oh, Algebra, Domni. No matter how much you talk back to me, you still earn less than me. If I don't support you, you can't even live on your own.
Stunned, I listened as Matthew continued.
This is your punishment for defying me. I'll stay at my parents' house for a while. By living on your own. First time to cut your knees war. You'll understand how much you need me.
Parents' house. You can't be serious.
I'll take both the joint account and my personal account passbooks and cards. As evil up were just your earnings. Just your room's perception based blush very top testing. But won't you? I did property someone at you.
With that, Matthew quickly packed his things and left. After he left, I started living alone. Just living by myself. I quickly realized how comfortable it is. There's no one to complain about the menu when I cook. I can make whatever I want to eat. Since Matthew is the one who mostly messed up the room, cleaning is a breeze when I'm alone. Without a husband who drinks and comes home every day, I don't have to spend extra money. Would it be better if he's not here? Just when I started thinking that, Matthew called. Hey, are you live? I thought you. Being so stubborn wouldn't come crying to me, so I called. Have you realized how much you need me?
If you apologize now, I may come back. But you have to promise not to defy me anymore. I persist.
You don't have to come back.
That my immediate response. Don't you let out a strange auspicious process?
I realized something after being away from you and being alone. It's better without you.
About talking nonsense. How you can live on your own? You can't live $1,000, can you?
What you saw wasn't my salary statement, but the amount paid for expenses. It's my company, unlike Matthew's, doesn't skimp on expenses. Yes, my salary is $4,000.
Why the courses were just $1,000? How can you, a vocational school graduate, earn that much?
I practiced a lot of practical work at vocational school to become immediately employable, and the company allowed me to obtain many useful certifications. Thanks to those qualifications, I received offers from companies I wanted, and I've been promoted smoothly since I joined the company thanks to the specialized skills I learned at school. So, I think a $4,000 salary is a fair amount, and it's a natural result.
How can you, a vocational school graduate, earn more than me, a university graduate?
You always look down on vocational school graduates, but Matthew, your university is just a 4-year institution and practically unknown, right? A person who brags about being from a third-rate university just because it's a 4-year institution probably wouldn't be hired by a decent company. Actually, maybe a company with harsh working conditions like yours would find you easy to handle.
After all I've done to support you, how can you say that?
You don't understand anything. Your salary alone couldn't possibly maintain this lifestyle. No matter how much we save on living expenses, $1,500 can't cover rent, utilities, your drinking expenses, and shopping for hobbies. If it weren't for my salary, we would have gone bankrupt long ago.
That was before.
You were the one managing the account, right? I assumed you noticed. I'm surprised you had no sense of urgency, even though the balance was steadily decreasing.
I don't have time to look at that all the time.
Both our salaries are money. Yes, that's true. I didn't care who earned more, as long as our savings were growing. I had no resistance to using my salary for a future. But it seems that my salary was not going into savings, but was all spent on your drinking parties and shopping for hobbies.
That's,
I've had enough of that. I realized I don't need you anymore, so you don't have to come back here.
Wait, are you breaking up with me?
Well, yes. If my salary is gone, it's you who won't be able to live, right? Then Matthew suddenly became frantic.
Wait, they're not in my hair. Me. What a quick change from his earlier arrogance about supporting me.
I threw his words back at him.
Well, if you apologize now, I might forgive you, but you'll have to promise not to defy me anymore.
Understands. I promise. Trap is from my couple trash.
Really?
Yeah, only breathy.
At his desperate plea, I burst into laughter.
Did mean living expenses. What are you talking about? From now on, you'll be doing the housework, so I don't need living expenses.
I'm doing housework. I need housework.
Yes, you said it yourself. It's natural for the one who earns less to do the housework. Between your $1,500 and my $4,000, you, a university graduate, can easily figure out who earns less, right? Thing from now on. I'll give you living expenses, and you'll do the housework. I'll manage the total money.
BB, but housework is a woman's job, right?
Oh, are you defying me? I'm planning to break the promise already. I'm ready to divorce any time, you know?
Oh, wow, wait!
And so he agreed to take on all the housework, just as I say. After that, I continued to make requests to Matthew.
Matthew, no more overtime from now on.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it you I sell? Good eyes, did I? I can't finish my work without overtime.
There's no need to do unpaid overtime. If you do overtime, make sure the company pays you for it.
It's as you season.
Also, I won't pay for your entertainment expenses.
What is a parses? Just no other. The only money I have to spend freely is the living expenses I get at the beginning of the month. How am I supposed to go out drinking with that?
You should be able to get entertainment expenses from the company. I'll talk to them about too. If you go out for drinks for other reasons, I'll give you additional social expenses.
One that was true. I just wanted an employee who would do unpaid overtime and self-funded entertainment without complaining.
As I say, Matthew tried to negotiate with his company for overtime pay and entertainment expenses, but he was brushed off. The supervisors who had been flattering him with "we rely on you," and your stars suddenly turned cold. A few who had given up on his company then began job hunting. However, he couldn't find a company willing to hire him, a third-rate university graduate with no qualifications or skills.
In interviews, he was told, if only you had at least one qualification.
Matthew, who had failed miserably in his job search, said to me admiringly,
But the qualifications you have are actually amazing. I've always looked down on you for being a vocational school graduate, but you are far more incredible than me. Then, Mr. Mustaine, I'm sorry for everything.
Matthew, who had been uncooperative and unreasonable in our married life, had completely changed. In the end, he started working part-time at a nearby supermarket.
I'm not as efficient at housework as you yet, so I chose a place where I can come home early. From now on, I'll start for Pranbahanein.
Matthew, thank you, but I want you to continue job hunting. We can do housework whenever we can. Let's work together as a couple from now on.
Even if I continue job hunting, impossible for me to join a company that pays better than you.
Don't worry about that. I was originally against Matthew's idea that the one who doesn't earn does the housework. I just wanted you to understand that, so I said the same thing. Matthew, why don't you look for a job you want to do without worrying about money? After that, Matthew started checking job listings and studying for qualifications during his part-time work.
If I got on these skills, I thought I'd at least get some qualifications. Opticians. Guy, can you help me with what I don't understand storing the business?
Yes, of course. Although our relationship has become the complete opposite of what it was initially, Matthew and I are getting along much better than when we were newlyweds. I like Matthew now much more than the old him. I wanted to continue living together as a couple, combining our strengths